Alright everyone, it's Mad Master here, doing a video about how the left has become the side that is anti-science. Now I know this is a controversial statement to make, and I know that the right wing is still very anti-science in many ways, and don't get me wrong, because they've co-opted a lot of ideas of woo, some of the people, and not to mention, I just a disclaimer, I'm actually into a lot of woo ideas, and any fucking smug atheist liberal that hates that can stick a fucking sharp, spiked object up their ass until it hits their fucking colon and they bleed out and die. That's all I gotta say about that. So it's very violent. By the way, I've become violent. Okay, I used to be this passive, not so quiet, not so fucking quiet. Fuck you. I'm not gonna be quiet anymore. How about that? How about that? I was never quiet. I just wanted to kill everybody or kill myself, but that didn't happen. So, anyways, very disturbing video. But anyways, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna live my life, like I said in my previous video. I'm sick of being, seen as this passive, quiet person, because I'm not. And I'm not going to be. I'm going to be loud, obnoxious, and what was the other word? I can't think. I'm just tired. I didn't get much sleep, so. So anyways, what was this video about? The left has become anti-science. The right wing is traditionally anti-science because they, believe in creationism. They're seen as like just morons, like. You're smug, like, pseudoscientists, like, what's that guy, this Bill Nye or something. It's like, telling you that what's scientific and what's not, So, but we're at a precipice where the right is becoming more scientific. Case in point, with a lot of this whole thing with the people still wearing masks on the left, like, after the cat dog cat started saying that if you have the what, you don't have to, and that's just the latest illustration of how the left is becoming more anti-science. And it's good. I'm not going to go into gender politics in this video too much, but like thinking that men who transition to women are physically the same as women in sports, controversial statement. They're not. There is a scientific difference between naturally born men and naturally born women. Of course, there's the gray area there, obviously, and I'm not saying that to discriminate against anybody that is a certain way. But then you have like the 36 genders thing, which is based on Tumblr. A lot of it's not science. Okay, that's not science. So when people say, oh, well, the left is more into science, we trust the experts. Oh, who are your experts paid off by the way? Just look at, I was watching that, like I talked about in my previous video, that whole Nestle thing. They pay doctors all this money or something for, to promote their formula versus natural breast milk. And that's completely fucked. People think we're conspiracy theorists by saying that people have compromised interest in the expert field. Fuck you, pieces of shit, really. So yeah, I'm a little shaky at my performance in this video today. I admit it. Whatever. So the problem is, the left proclaims to be the side for science, and the right has been about creationism and just crazy ass shit over the years, right? Anti-evolution, believe the Earth was around, or made in 7 days and all this shit, right? So the religious element for that. But now we have these religions, the religion of science, the science that you prescribe to on the left, or you follow this person. It could be, someone at at Harvard would be a doctor that says something about the, you know what, that happened over the last years plus. And then someone else would be saying something different, but they're going to believe the person that fits their narrative. So how scientific is that to stifle scientific debate? It's not. So that's another example. Now, all this social science mixed in trying to make that into biology, mixing social science and biology, the two don't mix. And it's kind of like, with this 36 genders, thing, or I'm gonna attack helicopters, my identifying pronoun, which is a right-wing meme, but it's kind of, it's just kind of like, you don't look at the science of biology, evolutionary biology, evolutionary psychology. That's seen as like, by the left, that's seen as an evil, patriarchal, anti-science, even though it's a science. It's just as scientific as saying there's fucking 36 genders, right? So the left is slowly turning into what the right used to be. Censorship, corporatism, anti-science, and faith on whatever bullshit ideology that's the flavor of the month, right? So we got to watch out. We got to fight that, fight it with science. I mean, fight the anti-science with science. And it doesn't mean like shaming people for, whatever they express their gender as or sexuality or anything like that. But just, draw the line between, there has to be a line drawn. Just say like, well, it's stupid to allow people that have an average body mass index into a certain sport just because they identify as the gender that they're on the team of. Just get rid of the fucking gender assignments on teams altogether, maybe. It's just like I was watching this thing about how BandAids are racist. Which, I don't think BandAids are racist, but I do think there is actually some subconscious like bias when the makers of BandAids make it a certain skin tone, because they are kind of this like sort of whitish, skin tone. Make them all green, make all BandAids green, or you can custom design your color. Because take a picture of your skin and send it off and get custom made BandAids that are your skin tone. That would be actually awesome. It's just like the mask thing. When I wanted to order a mask that looked exactly like my face, so I'd freak people out and fuck with them, but I never got into that. I was too late, with some of that stuff that I wanted to prank people with. So the whole thing, but if they're like Martians that are green, they'll feel discriminated against or they're not green, I should say. They would feel discriminated against because of the green BandAids. But just make BandAids green. Just fucking, it's just like the bathroom thing. Just make them all, unisex bathrooms. Problem solved. I mean, there'll be other problems, but it's like you're making a problem worse by disrupting the system that's in place, but not proposing like a sane continuation or solution. So science is not cool amongst the left anymore, obviously, as we see in the last several months with what's going on, a lot of it. And never has been. I mean, in some ways, like you look at the, Marxism and, communism in general, and there's some good parts, because they do their critiques of capitalism are pretty spot on a lot of the time, but they don't really propose a solution, and some of it's just nonsense. Like Marx was, he was part of the, in the Communist Manifesto, he says he wants to destroy the traditional family structure or whatever. It's like, I mean, I think he was trolling, honestly, with that. I think he was trolling people, and he was trying to like rile things up, because I think he was kind of a troll, like for the 19th century, not 18th century, 19th century. But I think a lot of this stuff's just, it's not scientific at all. Some of these social theories and stuff, they're somewhat scientific from the sociological perspective, but trying to say that there's just like a lot of the things that they're saying right now, it's going too far, into just ridiculous territory, and there is, critical theory is a thing, and it actually has some merit, right? I actually have a book on it that I got for free from one of these book things we have around town that gives free books. But it's like, just like they're just muddling things up and just like mixing all these things together that just don't make any sense. And that's the left, is they just want to push their political agenda and use science as an excuse. Just like the right wing has always used religion as an excuse for their own, pushing things forward. So I think that the left and the right are kind of switching sides now. We saw up until a few years ago, the right were the ones that were pro-censorship. And I'm not saying that the right aren't. The right are just mediocre and lame and don't really, they're still doing the bidding of what they were doing before a lot of the time. But the left is turning more into the more like actively, it's just like, it's almost like, yeah, the Democrats have always been half-ass fucking like, don't really follow their own thing that they're trying to do, and it's just like, it's all their legislation, they'll promise things and not do it. The Republicans are becoming more like that. And then the Democrats on the left are becoming more like the evil Republicans that were I grew up particularly to hate from indoctrination. It's like they're becoming the ones that are going by faith alone, going anti-science, going or pitting one form of science against another. And that's, you have to rectify both together. And that doesn't, social science becomes very political. So that's about all.